All right, sports fans, we're here again. It's Tuesday evening. We were unable to get part three of our preview for the GI 64 schedule, so we're going to do it this evening. So, welcome out to the Gridiron 64 episode number 10, part three, the preview. I've got my crew minus one this evening. I know it's the World Series, so we're doing the podcast and we're looking up at our screens to make sure because the World Series game one is on, so that's interesting. But I do have two of the three crew members with me. I have the coach, Steve Cantu. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, I'm blessed, brother. Happy to be here.
Right, and then of course I've got Big T, Tony Pena. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Ready to get it.
All right, and I'm the host, Gabriel Trevino. So we're going to go ahead and preview week three of the GI 64 schedule. I believe this is week, what is it, Tony? Week 10?
Week 10.
Week 10. So yesterday we were able to do part one, which was the interview. We interviewed sitting football players, Rene Galvan, Jonathan Bonino. It was a great interview, guys. Hopefully we'll have some more of their players coming up in the next few weeks. And then, of course, we broke down part two was we did the breakdown from week 9. And so today, Tony's going to lead us in the preview for week 10, the GI 64 schedule. Tony, if you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
All righty. So we got some good games this week. Some of these games are gonna have some seeding implications. So first game we have to talk about today is we got the 8-0 Veterans Memorial Eagles going into Flower Bluff to take on the Hornets that are 7-2 right now. So Flower Bluff has been struggling a little bit in some games that they shouldn't have, and I'm gonna just throw Moody in particularly out there. Flower Bluff comes off a really great season last year, struggles in some games that I think they should have won hands down. Uh, Steve, so who do you think? Who do you got to win this game? And tell me why. Tell me why and who you got to pick this game.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna ride with vets on this one. I think they're playing pretty consistent ball. I like what they're doing down there, and I'm gonna stick with them. I think they're like you said, I think the Hornets are kind of a touch and go team. Jekyll and Hyde. And this late in the season, you don't want that. I mean, this late in the season, you need consistency, and that's what you're going to get from vets. So I'm gonna ride with vets on this.
All right. And Gabriel, what are your thoughts and tell me why?
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with Steve. I think I gotta go with veterans. They're just a team that they've been consistent pretty much this whole year. Flower Bluff has been on the up and down. They've lost some games. I thought that they should have won. I thought this game at the beginning of the season, I said that it's going to come down to these two guys. I thought it had been that way for a while, and so I thought it was going to be like that, but it's not. Now, Flower Bluff's still a talented team. They just haven't been very consistent. They've turned the ball over a lot. They've lost some games, like I said, that I thought they should have won, and so it's kind of hard to pick Flower Bluff to win this game simply with the performances that they put on this last couple of weeks in district play. If you turn around and look at Vets has been pretty consistent. I mean, it was a closer game than we thought with Gregory Portland, but Gregory Portland is a team that's been very surprising this year, and they play tough just about every week. So Vets was still able to get a win out of there. So to me, I think Vets is the team. They're I think they're undefeated. I don't think they've lost a game this year.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've got to go with Coach Bittner and his boys, and I think they'll get better. I think it'll be a good matchup if Flower Bluff does not turn this ball over and they play a really good sound football game. This is going to be close. If they come out and they end up they end up turning the ball over and not playing Flower Bluff, then it's going to be a blowout for Vets. But either way, I'm taking Veterans Memorial.
All righty. Don't know who Johnny got. I imagine he'll go for Flower Bluff. Uh, I'm gonna go for Veterans. I'm gonna go for Veterans Memorial too. All the same reasons. We talk about some of the teams that are hot right now, and I'm gonna throw Portland out there. They got better year after. I mean, week after week. After those first two losses to Calallen and Bernie. Uh, and they've been on an uphill. I mean, they've been on a climb. You know what I mean? Winning some big games. And Flower Bluff really hasn't done that. So I think I'm gonna go with veterans as well. Um, so the next game that we have the 8-0 Refugio Bobcats, and we got the Kenedy Lions coming into town. The 7-1 Kenedy Lions coming into town to take on the Bobcats. Gabriel, what are your thoughts on this? Do the Lions have a chance? I mean, they're 7-1. Usually, this game's pretty close. In the first, second quarter, and Refugio normally takes it away. But what do you think this year's going to look like for this game? And who do you got?
Absolutely not. Do the Lions have a chance against Refugio? This is going to be a blowout for the Bobcats. We've seen. I saw Kenedy play early on. They've got some big boys, but what I saw in that game, this was early on in the season. They lacked the speed. The speed killed them when they played against Taft. Taft speed. No, they were a lot bigger than Taft, but Taft speed. It was just something early on in the season. Now, Kenedy might have fixed it, but they really had trouble with those wideouts when they would throw the ball and these guys were gone, so they really couldn't contain Taft speed. Refugio is going to be a lot faster than Taft. So I don't think this is going to be close. I think Refugio is going to blow them out, and I think you'll see the starters sit down in the second half, and they'll put in their second string offense defense. But no, I don't think this is going to be close at all. The only thing I think that maybe they can pound the ball on Refugio, but even that, with Refugio speed and what I saw Kenny do early on this season, Refugio, they'll take this easy before halftime.
What are your thoughts on this game, Steve?
Yeah, no. Although Kenedy is having a great season thus far, they're doing great. Uh, they're just not scoring enough points to keep up with a powerhouse like Refugio. They're averaging 30 points in their 8 games, while Refugio's doubling that up, averaging 60 points in 8 games. So you know I don't know. I think the closest is going to be in the first quarter when it's 0-0. That's probably going to be the closest part of the game. And after that, they're off to the races. So, no, without a doubt, I got Refugio on this one. It's tough to get Refugio on these picks, right? I mean, they're so dominant regular season, and it's tough to even, I mean, you can't pick against them. I think when we have Refugio on, there's got to be a point spread.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Uh, yeah, Refugio. I mean, yeah, they're just man, they're scoring a lot of points. I think the closest game they had was the Edna game. Uh, but yeah, I think especially coming into Refugio, we had the guys on last week. Who was it?
More.
Kelly and Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how the fans really support them and so it's going to be tough for even a good team, even a great team to come into Refugio and try to win on their own and
Sure.
on their home field.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be hands down Refugio all the way. Uh, and this is really like a warm up game for them in playoffs, taking on a team that's 7-1, and I think they're really going to put a beating on them. So I'm going with Refugio as well. I was trying to put Johnny down for the team that we're not picking.
Yeah. I
So
mean, that's what.
so right now Johnny has Flower Bluff and Kenedy. Okay, so this next game, oh, I didn't write it down. I think it was the game of the week. Let me check. Was it the game of the week? The Hebbronville Odem game? Do y'all remember?
Let's check it out. Yes. Yeah. This
Yes.
game of the week.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so this game is the game of the week. We got the uh 9-0 Odom Owls uh facing the 7-0 Hebbronville Longhorns. Hebbronville's coming into Odom. This game is going to decide district. So this is the battle for first place. Odom, we talk about Odom and I've even bet against them a couple of times this season. I didn't win. so I'm not betting against Odom again. So I'm definitely gonna go with the Owls on this one, especially since the Longhorns coming into town.
Mhm.
Uh, but I mean, Hebbronville has a good team. They had a good team last year, and Odom beat them. I think Odom beat them last year. But when you beat a team once, it's hard to beat them twice. Steve, who do you got?
Wow, I'm looking this over Hebbronville's been playing tough, bro. They've been putting up a lot of points, man. They golly. But I think the deciding factor is going to be that home field advantage. Let me see. Let me look at one more thing here, because I might take a Hebbronville here. Let's see. Shit, 102, man. They're really playing tough defense too, man. Uh, I know my buddy over here in the left over here in the screen is going to take Odom. And I'm really trying to catch him. And you can't catch somebody by playing it safe. So I'm gonna take Hebbronville with the upset right here. I'm gonna try to get a game in on you guys. We're running out of time here, and I got to make up a little room. Why not take a chance with the undefeated team? Although they're going to be going into a tough, hostile field on Friday. I'm gonna roll the dice, and I'm gonna take Hebbronville.
Right. All right.
Final answer.
Gabriel. Gabriel, who do you got?
Yeah, I think it could be. I think this could go either way. I can see Hebbronville winning this game or Odom. Once Taft got beat by Odom and Hebbronville slightly got past Taft, I thought that it was going to come down to Odom. It was going to come down to these three teams: Taft, Odom, and Hebbronville. And of course, Hebbronville got a score late in that game to beat Taft by a touchdown, and then Odom. And then I remember that Taft, if what I was told was correct, Taft got beat, pretty bad by Odom, but there was a lot of questionable calls. There was a light thing that happened, so I'm not sure, but I still think Odom is the dominant team, and I think until um, you beat Odom until Hebbronville, even though they're playing good. So is Odom. I think, and because of their playing at home, I think you got to give the advantage to Odom. But I can see either one of these teams winning. Hebbronville is a good football team. They're going to score some points. Odom's going to have to play a really good game, but it comes down to home field, and Odom loves to play at home, and their crowd really gets behind them. And they got a good football team, so I'm going to ride with Odom. But I think it's going to be a really good one, and that's why it's our game of the week.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I go with Odom just because they proved me wrong a couple of times this season. But I do believe that this game really can go either way, especially when you got district title on the line. You know what I mean? This is for the district championship. Hebbronville is going to want it. You know what I mean? It's also it's take district title out of the equation. No one wants to get their first loss. You know what I mean? And the this close to the end of the regular season. So we'll see.
Well,
We'll see
Tony,
how it goes.
here's the thing too, Tony, that Odom's owned this district the last few years. So they want to dethrone these guys. It'd be Taft or Hebbronville. That are the two closest teams, right? They can compete with Odom in that district. They want to dethrone these guys. They're tired of Odom dominating year after year. Being district champs. So they're climbing. They've got something to play for here, not only for a district title and an undefeated season, right? But they because is Hebbronville undefeated right now? Okay,
Yeah.
so not only for those two reasons, but they want to go in there. They want to be talked about as district champs. So they these teams they want to dethrone Odom. They haven't been able to do it yet. So it'll be a good one in Odom on Friday night. But like I said, I think the home crowd. Both of these teams are good. Both of these teams can score points. Hebbronville might be a little better offensively. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the stats, but they do score a lot of points. Um, but until I think you can beat Odom, why go against them, right? They've been doing so good for years and this year. So I got to stick with the Odom. And the other factor is that they're playing at home. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's going to be a good one, guys.
Tony.
The next game we have, I also think could go either way. Uh, we got the Alice Coyotes are coming into Calhoun, Crab County, San Crab County. The 4-3 Calhoun Sand Crabs are going to be taking on the Alice Coyotes that are now 2-6.
Mhm.
Steve, who do you got in this game? I mean, this again, both of these teams are playing for seeding. Well, Calhoun's playing for
Alice,
seeding. Alice is they might have a chance if I remember correctly, or are they out?
they're in
They're out.
fifth right now, and
They're out.
they
Fifth.
are they out?
Well, look at the schedule. Who do they play? They play Calhoun. And who do they got in the last week?
I remember it was somebody easy. I knew this was gonna be their toughest game. Uh, let's
I turn
see.
it.
I believe they're out, guys.
They got Teloso.
Yeah, they got Teloso. So
See, they'll end up in that tie,
yeah, yeah,
but
they're
they
they're
lost.
they're 0-3.
Yeah, but they lost to if they end up if they win if they beat Calhoun, and they end up beating um what is it,
Teloso.
Toloso Midway, which I think they will. They'll be in a tie for that fourth place spot, but they lost head to head to, let's say it's Beeville, right? Beeville beat them. So I think Beaver would
Mm,
go. So I believe Alice is out. I'm not sure on that, but I'd have to look at it.
yeah,
But I
I
think they're
I
out.
I I think they are because they're 0-3 in district play right now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I find it very hard for them to make the playoffs, even if they win 2 games. But but
Yeah, because
but for but for the Sand Crabs though, uh, they're 2-1. Okay, and this game depends on whether they're third or fourth. You know what I'm saying? Because they got Calallen last, so
Mhm.
they can't lose 2 games back to back
Yep.
because that doesn't help them out with seeding. So they got to win
Mhm.
this game because they're probably not going to win next week. So they got to win this game. You know what I mean? If they want to be in third place, but some things have to happen with Miller as well because we know Calallen's going to win the district. So if Calhoun wants to try to ride at number 2 or 3, they're gonna have to win this game because they're probably not gonna win next week, and
Mhm.
so we'll see. But
Yep.
I'll tell you who I got, Steve. Before you go, this was a tough one for me just because Alice. We talk about wishy-washy teams. You never know who you're gonna play. Alice is one of those teams.
Mhm.
Jekyll and Hyde teams, like you say. You never know which one's gonna show up. They don't have the hometown crowd, and I got to go with the Sand Crabs on this one. Who do you guys see?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Calhoun on this one. You know, Alice is one of those teams. That they're giving up more points than they're scoring. And obviously, that's how you lose games, right? When you're giving up more. But throughout the season, on an average, you take all of their average, they're giving up a couple of more points than they're actually scoring. So I don't think Alice is going to be able to put up enough points to beat Calhoun. I think they'll struggle with the run down there, and Calhoun will kind of ground and pound them, and and then at home they're playing at home, so that's another benefit. You know what I'm saying? And it's always good uh, when you're playing for seeding, not kind of playing for respect and stuff like that. It gets that close to the end of the season, so I'm gonna ride with Calhoun on this one.
But that's why I said this was hard for me because
Hmm.
Alice is playing for respect. That's all they're playing for.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? When you got teams that just play for that respect or just to mess up another team's
Yeah.
seating, you go all out. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. This was tough because if you never know what Alice is going to show. We talked about how good their defense is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But Porlavaca is a running team. We'll see how they do. Uh, come Friday.
Yep.
Gabriel, who do you got?
Well, let's go to Alice first. They started off with the loss this season, but it was against a really good team. And so we talked here on this podcast about how good we thought they were going to be, right? We said, hey, watch out for Alice. And then, they kind of had some turnovers and there were some winnable games that they lost. And we kind of rode with them for 3 or 4 weeks. They're going to get it together. Then they get a win and whoa, man, they're coming back and then they don't. Here recent, the last 2 weeks, you lose to Beeville, a team that had been struggling. I don't know if the air's been sucked out of the Coyotes. I mean, I know you talk about respect and rightfully so. A team that has nothing to play for, is very dangerous because they come out and they play loose. There's no stress and everyone's gonna go out there and do our thing. And a lot of teams play better that way. But this is an Alice team that had high expectations to make the playoffs. They've got to be disappointed down there. Their coach and the coaching staff and the players, they've got to be disappointed. It's not like it's a team that was really bad. We didn't have a chance to make the playoffs, but we're pretty good. But we're in a tough district and we didn't make it. Alice should have made the playoffs this year. They were a good enough team to be, maybe not, one or two, but they probably could have been two. I don't think they're going to beat Calallen, but this team was probably good enough to compete with Miller, Calhoun definitely. So they could have been as high as second, I think. So I think it's disappointing for these guys coming into this game. I don't know what the attitude, what the feeling is over there, but I gotta think that they're disappointed with the performance that they put on this year. So I don't know how they'll come out against a Calhoun team that isn't the powerhouse that they used to be in the last couple of years, but it's still a very good team. So when I look at this game and it's being played at home in Calhoun, that's one advantage. Calhoun has a lot to play for. They need to come out, like you said, it's seeding for these guys. So they got to come out and play their A game. How Alice will come out, I don't know, but they really got nothing to play for anymore. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Calhoun. I don't know what kind of Alice team because, like I said, this has been a very disappointing year for them because the expectations were high. This team should have. You come out of COVID last year and you get into the playoffs. You don't really play a season at all, and what little you do, you make the playoffs. This year you have a full season with high expectations and you don't make the playoffs. It's kind of disappointing. So I don't know how they'll come out, but I think Calhoun has more to play for. So I think they'll come out, they'll be ready. So I'm taking Calhoun in this game to beat Alice.
Yeah, again, this is the game that I think could go either way. And remember, Calhoun's coming off of that tough loss to Miller last week. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I seriously think this is the game that we need to watch closely. I think it's going to be closer than we think it is. But we'll see. So this next game, uh, I think it's an unachievable goal for Beeville. But we got Calallen coming into Beeville, 7-1 Calallen Wildcats coming into Beeville to face the Trojans at 4-4 at home. So like I said, I don't think this is an achievable goal for Beeville, but they don't have to win this game to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? They got to win next week for sure. But what Beeville has to do because next week they have Miller. What Beeville has to do is come out and Cal Allen with the excellent game plan to stop that run and really compete. Because Miller's doing something different now. We look at the last 3 games they played. Greenwood has been touching the ball a lot more. So they're not going to get into another shootout with Beeville like they did last year. I don't know if y'all remember that was like a 80 something, a 70 something score last year. I don't think that's going to happen this year, though. I think Brown is good enough to get in a shootout with somebody because I mean he's got over 2,000 yards passing right now, or almost 2,000 yards passing. Uh, I think Miller's trying to find a different dynamic to that offense. So, uh, you know, Beeville has to come with the game plan to stop the run because I think they're going to have to face that this Friday. And I think they're going to see a lot of Greenwood next Friday. So, again, I don't think Beeville got a chance to win this game, but I'm going with Cal Allen. But they got to have an excellent game plan to stop that run. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, they're gonna have 2 consecutive weeks of we'll see what Miller does, right? Because Miller's been they'll show the run and then they kind of tuck away and go away from it for a game, and so we'll see what their game plan is. But if they stick with it, it's going to be 2 back-to-back 60 rushing attempts for 400 yards, for both of these teams. I got Cal Allen winning this game in a blowout, pretty easy. Beeville's coming off a big win. They got a nice win for, to last week, but it's gonna hit a wall here. They got tough team this week and a tough team again next week, so it's gonna be hard for them 2 weeks in a row. I got Kyle Allen winning this game big. They're gonna rush for over 400 yards.
All right, 400 yards. He said
400 yards.
All right. Gabriel, who do you got?
Let me ask this question first. Can you give me? We talked about Alice's record. What's Toloso Midway's record?
1-7.
Okay, so they're worse than Alice. So it's
Yeah.
is it fair
No,
to say
Alice
that
is. Let me see.
2-6? Toloso Midway's got a worse record than Alice, right? Or are they bet the same in district play, not overall in
Yeah,
district play.
yeah. In district play, they're both. Oh, they're both winless.
Okay, so it's pretty much fair to say that they're both out of the playoffs, right? Okay, so that leaves Calallen, Miller, and not in any order, but that leaves Calallen in the playoffs, Miller in the playoffs, Calhoun in the playoffs, in Beeville, right? Because Beeville's already played Toloso Midway and Alice, and have they beat them both. So I don't know. Calallen, Beeville's probably already going to make the playoffs as a fourth team, right? So
They'll be
if
third.
that, well, I don't think they're not going to beat Calallen, and I don't think they're going to beat Miller this year either. Of course, you never know. That Miller game might be a little bit more competitive, but if you're Beeville and indeed you made the playoffs, then you want to. This is a good test run because you're going to play the district champs of whoever is in the other one. So they're probably not going to get any tougher than these two games. So if Beeville is in the playoffs right now, this is a good test for them defensively and offensively to get things ready for the playoffs. So if I'm Coach Sosa, which I'm not, but if I was, I would start preparing. If I knew, hey, look, we're going to be in the playoffs no matter what we do. We don't have to win or anything. But if I know that I'm in the playoffs as a fourth seeded team, then I'm already preparing this week for the playoffs. I'm not worried about beating Calallen. I'm not worried about beating Miller. I'm just preparing right now. And this is what I'm saying. If I know that I'm going to be the fourth team in this playoff,
There's no way.
hunt, then I'm getting ready because beating either one of these teams is probably not going to happen. Miller maybe, but you got to start preparing for the playoffs. And with Calallen coming in, you got to start seeing what. In other words, when I say prepare means what are you going to start preparing? What are you going to show in the playoffs? Because they're not going to beat Calallen, even if they play their A game. Calallen is too disciplined on defense and on offense. And you heard what Steve said. Now that Miller game is kind of interesting. I can see that being a little bit more competitive. It was competitive last year, although I still think Miller will take that one. But I start preparing for the playoffs now if I know that I'm already in, because there's no reason to not start getting the guys and whatever you're going to do for that first week, because the first team that you play in the first round of the playoffs, you're basically going to be seeing a team that's probably going to be like Miller or Calallen. So that's what you need to start preparing for. But in this game, guys, there's no chance. Calallen's very disciplined on both sides of the ball, and this is a very tough defense that's hard. So I don't know if you'll pass. I haven't seen a Beeville run, but it's not going to be close simply because Calallen is good on both sides of the ball. So Calallen easily takes this one. But I think if you're Beeville, you got to start preparing yourself. If it's true what I'm saying, and they are already in the playoffs as a fourth team, then I think you got to start preparing this week. Don't wait till that final week. Start preparing for your opponent. Start looking at it and prepare yourself, because that's what it's going to come down to. That's what you need to try to win. I know you talked about trying to get third, and that's nice, but I don't think realistically that's going to happen this week, and we'll see what happens with Miller.
Well, I'll tell you what. I tell you what. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's look at it this way. Say Calallen beats Beeville. Okay. Uh, Calhoun wins this week. Miller wins this week. Miller's playing Teloso. Calhoun's playing Alice. Okay. So now they're all 3-1. And Calallen's still undefeated. And Beeville takes a loss, and now they're 2-2. Okay, because right now they're all 2-1 except for undefeated Calallen. Okay, so if Beeville beats Miller, now they're all 3-2. But Bevo beat Miller and Miller beat Calhoun. So that's what I mean. This is about seeding. Maybe not this week, but things got to happen. Like if Alice beats Calhoun, that really messes them up for what could happen next week. Because remember, Calhoun has to play Cal Allen next week.
Now, but
You know what I mean?
Calhoun's not going to beat Calallen, and we already know
Exactly.
that. Okay,
Exactly.
and
That's what I'm saying. So this week there's going to be some things that could possibly happen that are going to mess with the seeding of that district. Because right now they're all tied, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1.
Well, yeah, but Beaville's going to end
But
up in the
Miller
fourth.
beat Calhoun, so that would put him at 2.
Yeah. Well, the
So
seeding's going to come between 1 and 3, but Beaville's going to end up four. They are.
oh,
I mean, I don't see. I mean, how bad did Miller beat Alice? Have they played? You know.
yeah, it was a close game. Remember, it was like 40 to. I'm gonna pull it up. It was like 40 to. I remember it was pretty close.
So see, you're okay. So Alice, I mean, Beeville might be able to beat a Miller team. I don't personally think that's going to happen. I think that game is going to be played at Buck Stadium, and I don't personally see it happening. But you never
Yeah.
know. Beaville's come up
48-44.
strong.
It's
Yeah,
48-44. So it was a close game.
Miller. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that now you're starting to see Miller use the running attack more. I think at that time they weren't using it, and that just gives them another weapon. So you never know what can happen. I don't see Beeville beating Calallen this week. I do.
Yeah.
I know
No,
there's a
no, 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 no,
possibility,
no.
but I'm
Yeah,
saying if you're Sosa and it looks, I mean you definitely want to win these games, but you got to start preparing this team for the playoffs because if you do make it, you're playing the best team of the next district, which is probably going to be a team that's like a Calallen or like a Miller. So I know you want to try to
absolutely.
win this game proceeding, but man, I think Beaville's coming on a little strong toward the end. They did that last year too, guys. They did that last year. They struggled all year and then they come in. So I'm just saying, if you're the coach, try to win these games, but you also got to try to get prepared for the playoffs because they beat Alice, they beat team. I think that's the fourth seeded team. I mean, no matter what else happens, unless they beat Miller, but we'll see. But I
Hmm.
think you got to start preparing because that first round is going to be tough. Whoever it is that they're going to play, it's going to be a
Yeah.
Miller like, Calallen like. So we'll see what happens. But hey, if Beaver makes the playoffs, this will be a big statement for them. They didn't do it last year, even though their season wasn't like it should have gone. This will be good for them next year, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So the big talk will be next week because yeah, exactly. I don't think Bevo's gonna beat Cal Allen, but if Alice stuns Calhoun, that could take uh Bevo out of fourth if something happens next week spectacular between Bevo and Miller. So I'm
But
just saying,
but but check this out, Tony. Check this out. If they beat Calhoun, that gives them one win in district, and then they play Toloso midway, and they get the second win. But
no, no,
that'll
no, no.
be the
I'm not talking about for Alice to make the playoffs. I'm talking about for the seeding to change. I'm talking about bumping Bevo from fourth to third or possibly second if they beat Miller. Calhoun cannot lose this game because it
no,
puts Bevo
no.
in the driver's
Okay,
seat to move up.
yeah, I see what you're saying. But I mean, it maybe Beaver can beat Miller. They ain't gonna beat Cal Allen. But I
No.
still don't think I still don't see Beaver beating a Miller. Not with what we've seen Miller do here the last 2 weeks and running this big boy. He's got now another tool he can utilize outside of the pass that, and I think Beaville's defense, well, they wouldn't be able to stop this guy. So I don't see that happening. But again, you never know. That's why you play the game, right? But
Yeah.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. If Alice stuns Calhoun, Beaver could go to third, which would be huge for them. They would have to take
Yeah.
on the best of the other district. But
Eh,
realistically, I don't think that's going to happen, T. But we'll see.
Hey, hey, look at the Rockport Fulton Pirates. They were in fourth place 2 weeks ago. Now they're number two. So I'm
Yeah, but
just
we knew,
saying,
yeah,
man.
yeah, but we knew Rockport wasn't going to stay at four. We knew it was
Uh,
just because of the schedule.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so the next game we have, I don't think Raymondville has a chance of making the playoffs anymore. But we got the 7-1 Mustangs driving down to Raymondville. The 3-5 Raymondville Bearcats. Um, this is a game that I think Ingleside will win big in. Ingleside, they got to prepare for Sinton next week, so they got to go out there to Raymondville and really work on execution. I don't know that they'll beat Sinton next week, but they really need this game to go figure out where their holes are on offense and defense and execute and get them right so that they're better prepared for next week versus Sinton because I think they should win this game easily. I think they'll be able to roll the Bearcats. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Man, I'm looking really hard here for a anything. Um, anything that tells me that Raymondville has a shot. So,
So I'm gonna look right now.
I looked at common opponents. Obviously, we've already kind of played each other there and what they're scoring. I'm going to factor in the drive for Ingleside, but Ingleside's already made a tough drive. Although it'd be early in the season, their first game of district play was took them out there to the Valley, and they were able to come away with the win versus Rio Hondo 34-21. But Raymondville played Rio Hondo pretty tough. You know what I'm saying? It was a close game, 24-21, 27-24, something like that. And so I'm looking at all the common opponents and just trying to give them, there's something to say about the travel. So I'll take into account that. And the other thing I want to take into account is the possibility that Ingleside could be looking past this game, looking forward to Sinton. So this could be a trap game for Ingleside. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, just assuming that Raymondville is just going to lay down for us. We're going to go down there, we're going to roll them. And obviously, like I said, you know what I'm saying, I gotta go out on the ledge here and make some picks. But I just don't see enough. I just think that, but I do say, I am going to say this, and maybe you guys will give me a half a credit point or something like that. Astros just scored. Nope, Braves did. A half a point for calling it a close game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Raymondville is going to play them tough. I think Ingleside may go in there a little looking past them. There go a closer game, but I do see Ingleside pulling out the win. So I'm a ride with Ingleside, but I just think it's a bit of a trap game. So all our Ingleside fans, we need to get in those boys' heads and let them know, hey, don't look past this game. Go down there, take care of business, and come back with the W. But there is some cause of concerns. They got to go down there and play and not play for Sinton. They got to play to win this game right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Gabriel, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, it's going to be played in Raymondville, so they got to make the drive up there. So Ingleside might come out a little sluggish, I think, in the game. Like you saw Rockport come out. There is something to say for that drive. Like I said, these school buses, they're not comfortable. So you're not driving in your own vehicle. So a two-hour drive plus.
They are chartering a bus. I did see that. I got friends over in Ingleside, and they are chartering a bus even for the fans. I thought that was cool. So they're trying
to.
Yeah, I thought that was way cool.
Well, that makes a big difference now because a charter bus is a lot more comfortable than a school bus. I remember when I used to ride those school buses, they weren't comfortable when we had to go long distance, but that might change a little bit. But I thought if they were riding the school bus, that the ride up there, they might come out a little sluggish. But I just think Ingleside is a lot better than Raymondville.
Sure.
Ingleside would have to just fall apart, which is not something that we've seen this year from this team. And then that defense is really good. And so I think Ingleside, they'll come up with the win. I think they'll win by at least 2 touchdowns plus. I don't think it'll be close at all. So they'll win that. Now, they can't look past Raymondville, and I don't think they are. I think Sinton, I think Ingleside knows that next week's game is going to be a tough one. They've got to get this win. You never, as a coach or a player, think you can't win a game. So I'm sure the Mustangs are thinking, hey, we're going to go in there and give it a shot. I know when I played ball, I thought I could beat anybody. You never want to say, we don't got a chance. Coaches and players that are going to play the game and coach the game never think that way. But realistically, as podcasters and fans, right, we know it's going to be an uphill battle for Ingleside to beat Sinton. A lot of things will have to go their way for them to beat this team. I mean, Sinton is just loaded. Now, Ingleside, I'll say, they got a heck of a defense. So it's not like I think Sinton will blow over them. That defense, I think, can play with them. It'll be their offense. Can they move the ball on that Sinton defense? Rockport's offense, it was really good, and they struggled to move that ball, to run against them. So we've had, those players, Jonathan Modine, he talked about how good that defense has been this year and how that coach draws it up. So I think for Ingleside next week, I'm going a little ahead of myself, but I think a lot of things have to go right. I think the defense can hold them in that game, but but not for 4 quarters because I think Ingleside's offense will struggle to try to find a way to score some points and move the ball on that Sinton defense. I think will be the change. But as far as this week, I don't think they'll overlook Raymondville. I think that Coach Hamrick and his players know they need this win because next week will be tough. And so I think they'll be prepared for this game. Now they're gonna get a charter bus, so they'll be comfortable on the way up there and back home. But I think they get the win because I just think Ingleside's a lot. They're a better football team, a lot better than Raymondville. So a lot of things would have to go Raymondville's way for them to beat Ingleside. But I'm taking the Mustangs to go down to the Valley in Raymondville and come back with the win. They'll set up a showdown next week, the final week with Sinton.
All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put Johnny for Raymondville on this one too. Uh Next game we got. I don't know how close of a game this is. The record says it's supposed to be a good game, but we're talking about one of the hottest teams in our area as far as last year to this year. We got the number 9, 7-1 Cuero Gobblers, and they got the Smithville 7-1 Smithville coming into town. Like I said, Cuero is just total 180 from last season. They went state 2 years ago or 3 years ago, something like that, and then they have a bad season, and now they're just like bounced back. I don't know what happened over there for them to have such a big bounce back. I mean, a quick bounce back like they did, but they're hot right now. They're winning some big games, uh, and I think because of that, I'm gonna have to go with the Gobblers right now. But Smithville, you know, uh, I don't know. I think they want to win this game, and if I'm not wrong, I think this is has district title implications as well. Steve, did you look into that? I think it does.
Well, it's
Gabriel,
early, but they still got a few games left to play. But man, I don't know. On paper, it looks like a pretty big matchup. You know what I'm saying? But you're looking at the wins that these guys have. You know what I'm saying? Crockett, Columbus, Navasota, Gonzales, Giddings. Of course, I'm talking about Smithville. They they
yeah.
they don't have that big. They don't got to win over Wimberley. You know what I'm saying? They don't have those tough games. So I think I'm gonna ride with Cuero. Early on, I thought, man, Smithville. I thought they were gonna be a whole lot nicer. You know what I'm saying? Looked at their record, but now that I got them up and I'm checking them out, they got to win over Navasota and Gonzales, but that's just not the caliber of teams that these Cueros played thus far, man. These guys, let's see here. Phone's a little slow. Yeah, they got a big win over Navasota too. They got that common opponent, but no, I think I'm gonna ride with Cuero, man. They're just way too hot right now. Uh, and like I said, when I first saw the game, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute now, this could be something. But no, I think I'm gonna ride with Cuero. They're on a hot streak, and we're gonna ride them till the wheels fall off, and then um, hopefully, they slow down when we meet up with them. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what they do. A lot of football left to play, but I got Cuero.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would like to see Smithville get competitive in this game. I'm looking at the records. They do only have one game left apiece. Uh, Smithville got LaGrange last,
And they got Gonzalez.
and they got Gonzalez. So yeah, I don't see another team in their district with more wins. So yeah, I think this is for
And,
the
and then
district championship.
Cuero beat the only team that's beaten Smithville, and that's Yoakum.
Oh, Yoakum. Yeah. No, but in district they're both undefeated. So
Yeah.
so this is for district championship. Even though they got a game next week, Gonzalez is not going to beat Cuero, and I don't know that Smithville will lose to Lagrange. So Yeah, I think this is gonna be big for Smithville. They're both going to the playoffs either way.
Yeah.
But Smithville has to be able to go in there and compete with the hot Cuero and slow them down because that's what we need. But Gabriel, what are your thoughts on this game? I mean, I know Johnny wanted this game. I know you and him talked about this game a little bit. What are your thoughts about this game?
But I'm gonna take Cuero. But I think it'll be a good one. Um, Cuero always has athletes out there. They've had a downfall since they won the state title in that district. They were kind of coming up a little bit last year. They just weren't very consistent like they are this year. They were winning some games. We were talking about them a little bit, but this year they put it together. So I think they'll win this game. But what I want to see is the two best teams in the district. Is it going to be like a Rockport Sinton game? It would be very interesting if that were to take place. Whether Cuero won or Smithville won. But if Cuero wins, but it's like by a touchdown by 10 points, that's telling us a lot about the Smithville team. So you got to remember, Cuero lost. Their one loss they have to Navarro. Navarro beat Cuero and Wimberley whipped Navarro. So, what does that say for Cuero? You can say that they had an off game, people do, but that one close loss that Cuero does have came to that Navarro team who, early on the season, Calhoun beat. And then, the thing that always stands in my mind is okay, so, Wimberley whipped Navarro and Navarro beat Cuero. So, was did Cuero have some injury? Because a lot of things can happen. We don't know the details of injuries to players and stuff that might have caused that, but it's something to kind of think about in the back of your mind. They do have that one loss to Navarro. And we talk about three of those teams are going to be, we talk about, right, will be one of those three teams will probably be one of the last teams standing, which we talk about Cuero, Navarro, and Wimberley that we think are going to be possibly have the opportunity to be playing for the region, the championship, right, to get out of the region. The other two teams is Rockport, Fulton, and Sinton. But let's not count out Smithville. Let's see what happens if Cuero blows out Smithville. That we know that it's all Cuero. If it turns out to be a game like Sinton and Rockport, and Smithville loses, what happens if these two teams meet again in the playoffs? So I want to see how close these two teams are to each other. How close is Smithville to Cuero, even if Cuero wins? But if they dominate this game and blow them out, then that says a lot about Smithville. So this will be a big test for them. But I've got to stick with the Gobblers. I just think they've been playing good. I've been paying more attention to Cuero and reading up on their stats than I have on Smithville. So I should have done more of that. But at the end of the day, I think this would be a good one. It's a matchup, of the two best teams, obviously in the district. We just got to see how close they are to each other, and we'll find that out on Friday. But I'm going to take the Cuero Gobblers. I think Cuero still gets to win. I think they're playing in Cuero, are they not?
You got your mic up.
Yes, I'm sorry, my bad. They're playing in Cuero.
Okay, yeah. So I've got to take Cuero, But remember, guys, don't forget that loss that they do have. We'll be talking about that loss as we get to the playoffs because I think it was a big, big, big loss when they lost to Navarro. Navarro's not the dominating team that they have been in the past. So that kind of gives us some hope. But again, remember what I told Johnny: if Smithville beats Cuero, right? If they beat Cuero, then Rockport ends up playing Smithville in the second round and not Cuero. So, see what happened. This game we got to pay attention to because it does have some interest into who Rockport will be playing in the second round. It's either going to be Smithville or Cuero. So that's why y'all want to see how close they are, to each other. Win or lose, will this be a close game or will one team dominate the other? We'll see on Friday. But I'm taking the Gobblers.
Yeah. I was looking at just another stat. Last year, Smithville beat Cuero 29-27. So I didn't look at the rosters to see how many returners each team has, but last year was a close game. It was 29-27. So I hope it's a battle because again, like you said, that was a great point. It really shows us how good Smithville is because we haven't even talked about them. We talk about Cuero a lot out of that region. But we're talking about another team that's 7-1. Is it a fluke that they're 7-1 because of their strength of schedule? I don't know, but we'll find out Friday. So This game right here. This is a win or go home for both these teams. We got the 2-6, and I know that record doesn't sound great. The 2-6 West Oso Bears driving down to the 6-2 Port Isabel Tarpons. Uh, on paper, it looks like Port Isabel should win this game, but we saw what West Oso can do last week. They scored 35 points off of what I think is one of the best defense in the area last week. And they scored 28 of those points really fast. They scored 20 of those points in the first half. Uh, we talked to Coach Smitty, and he talked about his boys playing 4 quarters of football. I don't think that they played 4 quarters of football last week. I think had they played 4 quarters of football, uh, that game would have been closer. I don't know, but defensively, it looks like they may have got a little bit sluggish, or offensively, Rockport got hot. It could either one of those statements could be true, but both of these teams, even though Port Isabel has a better record, uh, both of these teams need to win this game because if they want to go to the playoffs as the 4th seed, they both got to win this game. In this game, I'm gonna ride with the 2-6 West Oso Bears just because I said that they would make the playoffs, and I do think, especially after what I saw Friday, that they're good enough to go to the playoffs and beat Port Isabel. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, for a lot of the same reasons, man. Gosh darn it, those boys look really, really good, man. And I really do think if these guys played like that for the majority of this season, we wouldn't be talking about them sliding in, backing into a 4th seed. We'd be talking about them contending for well, let's bump them to the 3 seed. Because they really really played well, man. They played good, bro. And I was really, surprised. I knew they're, a passing attack or a passing team, but those boys really came out to play that night, man. So, man, and but man, I would be contradicting I would be going against my pick if I picked against them, but
You do what you got to do, man.
I might have to, right? I might have to just to try to catch up here. No, man, shoot, darn it. No, that West Oso passed the eye test for me, bro. Quite honestly, they passed the eye test. I think, I was there. I saw it for myself. I'm not getting my information secondhand or off the huddle videos or anything like that. I watched that team, you know, catch Rockport, surprised them. You know what I'm saying? And had Rockport on their heels. I mean, they were marching down the field. They were having 5-6 play drives that were resulting in touchdowns. They were really moving the ball fast, big chunk plays. I think Coach Smitty going to the no huddle was another weapon that he had been holding for late in the season. That no huddle really caught Rockport off guard. They hadn't done that. I watched tape on them, from the year, the huddle videos, and they weren't doing that. This is something that they brought out just for Rockport. That tempo and really caught us off guard. So if they come out with that same attack and just try to finish the season with that same high tempo, they'll earn themselves a 4 spot in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with West Oso here. It's too big of a gamble for me to try to play the numbers game and chase Port Isabel's record around. It's not enough substance there for me.
Yeah. Also, just a tidbit of information on West Oso. I have my cousin on Facebook, and he shared that Anthony Pena actually broke the single game passing record against Rockport last week. He passed for
Wow.
420 yards, so that was the most passing yards by a quarterback in one game in a single game at West Oso. So congratulations to Anthony Pena, and we talked about the kind of season that he's having. Still one of the best quarterbacks in our region and in the area, the top 10 in the area. So Gabriel, you heard it all from me. You heard it from Steve. Who do you got in this game?
Well, we're gonna talk. We're gonna break down tomorrow more of the Rockport Fulton Westoso game. But first of all, before I get into this game, Brad Smithy did a great job in Friday's game because he looked at our defense and he attacked the area with the speed and the size of his receivers. The one, I don't want to say our secondary is bad because they're not, but he felt that matchup with his receivers against our secondary was something he could expose, and he did for 35 points. He knew that his run with our front seven, it's kind of hard to run on Rockport for 4 quarters because I think Rockport's strength is the D line and the linebackers, right? With these linebackers that Rockport has, they're fast, they're aggressive, they're physical. You heard John Modine from Sinton say, man, that's a physical football team, offensively and defensively. So to me, guys, I think that um, you know he did an awesome job in giving his team a chance to win by getting the matchup with his receivers. He felt he could win, and he did for a long time. For the first half, he was right there. It's just his defense couldn't stop Rockport's offense. So hats off to Coach Smitty. He found something he could expose on our defense, and it worked. 35 points on Rockport's defense is a lot, guys, for a 2-6 team. Now, I think Westoso is a lot better than 2-6. I really do. But it took us to have to bring back, John Chupi to get on that defense to stop that receiver. So we'll talk a little bit more about John playing defense in tomorrow's Pirates Code podcast. But Westoso, I'm like Steve, these guys showed a lot. I seen it. They were very impressive in that game offensively. Now, defensively, they got some things they got to work on. But Port Isabel is not a very strong team. I don't think Port Isabel, I'll say it this way, I don't think Port Isabel is as good as 6-2 as their record shows, but I haven't seen them play. But I can tell you that Westoso is definitely better than what their record shows. So I think in this matchup, I think Westoso's got a good chance. And if Port Isabel secondary, is not good on the pass, then Westoso's going to eat them up with the quarterback that they have. So to me, I think Westoso, I think, too, Tony and Steve, that confidence. Yeah, I'm watching the World Series too. The confidence that they put up 35 points against Rockport, they're going to take that in, Tony. And I think that did wonders. I know Westoso lost that game, but really it was a victory for them because if your coach may say, listen, we just played a really good football team, and we scored 35 points on them. So I think even though they lost, they've got to feel good about themselves for the way that they played against a really good football team. So they can go into Port Isabel and win that game. I think it's just a matter of staying focused and playing the way they played against Rockport. Now that team comes out against Rockport the way they came out against us, and they'll win this game. So, and they really control their own destiny because if they win the next 2 games against the Valley teams, then they're in. So they position themselves, and we wanted to see, right? We wanted to say, okay, this is really what are they going to do against Rockport? Well, they showed a lot offensively. They've got weapons, and they've got a quarterback that can get that ball to those weapons. So I'm going to take Westoso. I have them to be the fourth place team. So I'm going with Westoso over Port Isabel. And then we'll see next week. But I'd be very surprised, guys, if Westoso doesn't win this game on Friday. But I'm taking the Bears.
If Westoso played Ingleside the way they played Rockport, they would have
won
beat
that game.
Ingleside.
They should have won that game.
Mhm.
If they've never done that offensively before and they saved it for Rockport,
Mhm.
they should have saved it for Ingleside because that puts them in third seed,
Mhm.
which puts them in a better spot in the playoffs.
Mhm.
But I will say Carrizo Springs is going to win district up there, and we faced Carrizo Springs last year, and because Carrizo Springs wasn't a great team last year, uh, I think that Westoso is good enough to beat that undefeated Carrizo Springs team that wins district in that region. I think Westoso, the way they played, is good enough to beat that Carrizo Springs team. If they stay at the fourth seed, I think they're good enough to at least make it to the second round. We'll
Hey,
see. I'm jumping the gun right now, but we'll see.
hey, Tony, I'll just add this. Um, what Coach Smitty's got is he's got a quarterback that we know is good. And then he's got some receivers that are really hard with the speed that they have. They got some good matchups that they can win. It's really going to come down to that defense for Westoso. These guys can score. Can that defense hold, in the first round, second round? Can they hold? If that defense can hold and play good, then they've got a chance to win that first round playoff game. But I think it's really going to come down to Westoso's defense, because their offense can score points. And Coach Smitty, when we had him on the gridiron, he said, it's been turnovers. And he's known that he's had this quarterback. He's known that he's had a great quarterback. And we saw the receivers. So they can get the ball out if they give him time, which, they gave him time to throw against a pretty good, Rockport defense. So we know they can throw. It's really going to come down to Westoso's defense. And can they hold some of their opponents to keep Westoso in the games? And then, of course, the turnovers. But I tell you, Westoso is definitely better than what their record shows. So when you watch, if you've never seen them and they're 2-6, or they're this and that, they're not that good, you're making a terrible mistake. This is a good team. They're a lot better than what their record shows. And they've got weapons on that outside, and they can really they can light it up if you're not careful. So that's good. We'll see what happens, but I'm taking Westoso.
Your mic.
I'm gonna put Johnny on Port Isabel in that game.
Give it to him. Oh, Johnny's gonna have a great week.
Well, the game keeps going like this, Mike. Of course, I'm an inning behind you, so don't tell me if
Okay.
they caught up.
Okay. I'm not gonna say
So,
nothing.
so the last game we have our state game. This is another 4A Division II matchup. Two teams that we might see, we might not see. Who knows? Later on in the playoffs, I think they're uh, District 1 and 2. Or how does it go? Where there's four districts or four regions? How's that? They're in Region 1 and 2. These teams are both in Region 1 or 2. I don't remember which one. So we won't see them unless they make it to state. But we got the 13 ranked Orangefield Bobcats. They're 6-2, facing the Hemshire Longhorns, who are 5-3. Hemshire will be traveling to Orangefield for this game. Uh, I'm still undecided on this one. Even though the Bobcats have another game, a game under their belt over Hampshire Longhorns, I looked at the strength of schedule, and it's pretty dead even there. So I'm kind of undecided who I'm going to pick. So I'm going to hear what Steve has to say. I don't know if he did his homework. Sometimes he does on these state games, sometimes he doesn't. Steve, who do you got on this, Steve?
Well, I just looked at my thing and I thought I misspelled it. It wouldn't take neither one of the teams. So I'm shooting blind here. I'm shooting blind. I'm just going to go off of the information that you offered up, and hopefully you're telling the truth that it was close and this and that. So
Well,
I'm what happened?
last year these two teams, this is a district game. Last year when they faced each other, they were both also still ranked in state. The game was 20-13 in overtime, and Orangeville took the win. So these teams play each other hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'll give you on that.
All right. Well, that's gonna have to be enough for me. And so gosh, yeah, no, I'm all right with Orangefield. How about that? Based off of what they did last year and they're seeding this year, right? So they're obviously ranked 13. So they're having a better season. They're doing something better. They're either scoring more points or holding teams to fewer points. So let's ride with Orangefield.
All right. Gabriel, what about you, Gabriel?
Yeah, I'm shooting blind too. Tell me again the name of the teams.
Orangefield Bobcats and Hampshire Longhorns.
Which one? Yeah, and Orangefield, they're the 13th, right? And the other one's 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Orangefield. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. Yeah, I'm going Orangefield as well. I don't know much about these. I'm riding blind. I really don't know anything. I didn't even look to see what they had done. I just got what you just said. So I'm going to ride with the Orangefield too. They're the 13th seed, so they're the lower seed. I think they'll have a good chance to win the game.
All right. That's the way
Come
I
on,
want to play
you're saving all the details for yourself over there.
it. I'm just trying to make sure
He'll go with
I s-
Orangefield.
oh, I know
Uh-oh.
why. Because I misspelled it. It's Hampshire. That's why you
That's
can't
why.
find it.
Come on, man. I thought it was Hill Farm, Hillshire. I was like, they selling sausage down there. What the hell they doing?
And Orangefield is one word. If you didn't do it as one word, that's probably why you didn't find it.
That's why.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
So, uh,
Woo.
yeah, they're right there. They're right there on Wimberley's Hills and Cuero's Hills. So I'm gonna have to go with Orangefield as well, just because of what I'm seeing. But again, like I said, these teams, they have the potential to make state, and if they do, then this is a team that we could possibly face if Rockport makes it to state. But of course, Rockport has to get through Carthage, so we on the wrong side of that.
Oh boy.
So, anyways, that's all I got, guys. For this week, for week 10 of Texas high school football. Picks are in. Real quick, I'm gonna update y'all with the standings of our picks and where we all stand. And it looks like Gabriel is still in first place with the record of 62-19, and I'm barely in second place with 57-24. And Steve separated himself from Johnny this past week. He's at 56-25. And then Johnny, he missed quite a bit of games last week. He's 53-28. So those are our standings right now after 9 weeks of football. So we'll see what happens. We got 2 more weeks to try to catch Gabriel, Steve. So we'll see. You're only one game behind me.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Gabriel?
Yeah, Tony, thank you once again. That concludes our preview for week 10. And Johnny couldn't be with us. So we'll get Johnny's picks sometime before Friday's game. He'll be on, I think, the Pirates Code tomorrow. So, I'll have him, Tony. I'll send him a message to text you his picks so you can have them written down for next Monday. But another great part 2 and 3 breakdown preview. Thank you guys for coming on. I know we're trying to do this and do our research, and then we want to watch the World Series as well. So when we get off, we'll be able to finish out the game. I think they're in the bottom of the 5th. And so we still got a little bit more to go. Hopefully the Astros can do something in the next couple of innings. But once again, thank you guys for showing up. Tomorrow, Tony, real quick, I'm charging up my phone. Where do the freshmen and JV play? I know they're playing together, but I think it's a road game. But I know wherever the freshmen and JV are going to be playing together. That hadn't happened a lot this year, but where are they playing? Is it a home game or is it a road game? I think it was a road game.
Usually when the varsity plays on the road, they normally play at home, but let me double check. But that's usually the way it works.
So I think they're playing. They're not playing the same team, but they are playing at home. Or maybe they're playing the same team. I'm not sure. Should be a home game.
Let's see. The 29th, that's varsity.
West Oso. They're
Yeah,
gonna play West Oso's JV.
they're playing at West Oso.
Okay, so the freshman is playing who?
The freshman is playing Sinton.
Okay, that's Thursday in Sinton. Oh, at home. That's at home.
At home. At home. They're
Yeah,
playing Sinton here, so that should be a good one.
And the JV is playing on the road at West Oso, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so GT Sports will be at home Thursday. We'll live stream the Rockport Fulton Pirates freshman team as they'll play Sinton. I know that they played them early on and took the loss early on in the season, so they'll get a chance to play them again, which is good. That should be a good matchup. So GT Sports will be at Pirate Stadium this upcoming Thursday. to live stream the freshman um, Pirates against the Sinton Pirates. Should be a good one. I think game time, Tony, is that at 5:30? Steve, is that at 5:30?
5:30. Yes, sir.
5:30. Okay, so we'll be there. Then of course Friday, GT Sports will be on the road with our varsity as we'll be in Robstown as the Rockport Fulton Pirates varsity team takes on Robstown. So we'll be there. We go live at 7:10. We'll live stream that game as well. And then Saturday, we'll see where our youth goes. Steve will have an update for us on the Parts Code tomorrow as to where the boys will play. So hopefully we can catch a game or two and live stream their games as well. We'll also be waiting, guys, for our volleyball team. I'm going to get off here and look to see what the final score was between Sinton and Calhoun. But Rockport, I think they took the win. Not sure over Beeville tonight. They were playing at home. But that'll end the regular season. So now there might be a playoff game for seeding between our Lady Pirates and the Calhoun Lady Sandcrabs. We'll see what happens. It all depends on whether Sinton was able to beat Calhoun or if Calhoun beat Sinton. So if Calhoun beats Sinton, I believe there'll be a one game. There'll be another game between Calhoun and Rockport for seeding purposes, and I think that. They'll be co-champs. So we'll see what happens. But the playoffs are coming real soon for our Lady Pirates. So stay tuned to our social media pages, Pirates Code Twitter page and Facebook page. We'll be putting up a lot of stuff on our girls as we get set to play in the playoffs. You know, the expectation, guys, have been high for our Rockport Fulton Lady Pirates volleyball team to go a couple of rounds in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk more about the ladies in tomorrow's podcast on the Pirates Cove. But just want to remind people tomorrow on the Pirates Cove at 7:00, we will have Rockport Fulton Lady Pirates head basketball coach Morgan Hill will be here. We'll be talking 2021, 2022 basketball season. These girls, just real quickly, went to the third round of the playoffs last year. I think they were on a 20-something win streak last year. And just about all of the ladies are coming back. So the expectation, like it was for volleyball, is very high for basketball. So we'll have Coach Hill on tomorrow on the Pirates Cove, and we'll be talking basketball as the season starts, I think, next week. And then the week after, I think it's November 3rd, the Pirates Cove is set to have Rockport Fulton Pirates head basketball coach, Damian Bates. He'll be on. I think it's November 3rd. So we have Morgan Hill coming on tomorrow. Then the next Wednesday, we'll have Damian Bates. We'll be talking basketball. And then, of course, we'll be following our football, our volleyball girls in the playoffs. And then the football team should be hitting the playoffs too here within the next 2 weeks or so. So we're going to be real busy, guys. We're also keeping track of our youth football team. So this next month, I think it's going to be real busy for us. But I like it. We're ready. We'll be continuing on the gridiron to bring in other coaches. I'll be working on bringing in more players. I know that we definitely want to bring in JJ Acosta from Taft. We want to talk to these guys. And of course, we definitely want to get with the quarterback from Westoso. And then also the coach, the quarterback and receiver for Veterans Memorial. So it'll be busy. I'll try to book these guys in and also want to get into seeing if we can get some coaches from Wimberley, Cuero, and Navarro into got teams that we may see in the playoffs. So we'll be busy. We'll see what happens, guys. But once again, thank you very much for your time. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We 6:45. If you guys can come on, give us 15 minutes before we start the podcast with Coach Hill. So until tomorrow, 6:45, guys. Peace out. Have a great night. Let's hope that the Houston Nationals can pull out game one.
Good night, fellas.
Go Astros.
Go Stros.